So next, Mr. Chris Course, welcome to the show, old friend.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Hello, everyone. Tonight's a free for all, and let's see if we get the slideshow running here. All right, looks like that's going to work. Okay, there we go. You'll see it here in a second. Come on. All right, welcome everyone. Tonight's a free for all. We've got a bunch of modelers tonight. This is probably going to be a long one, actually. So thanks in advance to everybody that participated. First up is Greg. How you doing tonight,
Ah,
Greg?
Hey, Chris, ready to go.
All right.
So this started out by going to the Mideastern Region Convention of the NMRA last month, which was up in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. And one of the events I had signed up for was a hands-on clinic about building a section house from Jack Jodl and Ipswich Hobbies. I had already built the O-scale one, so I was happy to sign up for this, and I selected the HO scale one this time. Next. But there was a little bit of a hiccup in the registration, and they had me signed up for something else. So I didn't get the email saying to bring your own tools and supplies, which I should have known, but I didn't. And so I showed up there empty-handed while everybody else had their toolboxes with them. But fortunately, Jack had prepared for that, and he had some extra tools and some stain and stuff. And I sat next to a friend who had some glue I could borrow. So that gave me enough to at least work on something. Next slide. So with just using an X-Acto knife, glue, and some stain, this is what I ended up coming up with. And this is what I brought home from the convention. And I said, well, it's good enough to start with, and I'll finish everything up when I get home. So I was actually quite pleased that I didn't come home with everything still in the box. Next. So once I was at my workbench and I was able to finish everything up, this is how it comes out. And I love this little kit. It's so customizable. You can make almost anything you want out of it. And it's a nice little structure. It's based on an actual section house that was up in Ipswich. And it's just a fun kit to build. Next one. And this is it from the other side. And remember, a lot of this was built with just an X-Acto knife and stain. And it was only the windows, the roofing, the joists and stuff that I was able to finish up when I got home. So next slide. And this is it sitting next to its big brother that I had already built. And like I said, you can customize this. The previous one I had actually built as an old-time garage and put an interior in it, and it's got an old 1917 Renault in there that somebody's working on. But they're just a great kit, and I was really happy to go to the clinic and happy that I came home with something that I could be happy with. Next. And this shows the two of them side by side. Like I said, I did a couple minor modifications, but when you look at what you're starting with, you could make almost anything you wanted out of this. You could make it into a store, you could make it into a warehouse, you could make it into a workshop, anything that you wanted. Next. And I also wanted to mention the clinic that I had accidentally signed up for was Chris Course's clinic, which was up there, which was building a repurposed 24-foot boxcar. So I picked up one of those kits and I brought it home. And I finished it now, and you'll be seeing it on the next Free for All My Build, which is in 2 months. If you want to see it sooner, you can go to my YouTube channel. It's up there. And I guess that's it, Chris.
Yep, I think that's it, Greg.
Uh-huh.
It's funny. I think actually Jack had us do the same kit a few years ago as part of a build along,
He
and
did. That's when I built the O-scale one.
yeah, I've got mine right here. That's why I just got up. It's like, oh, still haven't finished it, but one of these days. All right.
Right.
The thing that caught my eye was the smoke jack that's on there.
Yes. And
Uh,
I'll tell you, that's one of the benefits of doing one of these hands-on clinic with the model creator because he told us, I didn't know that smoke jack, there was actually a fan in the box underneath the pipe that would create the draft that went up through the smoke jack.
Huh.
I just
Yeah.
always thought that was just a base and, there wasn't anything to it.
Hmm. Was that a cast piece? Because I was looking at my kit, I don't see it.
Uh, I believe it was 3D printed, and
Oh, okay.
I don't remember if it was in the one a couple of years ago when I built the O scale one,
Yeah.
but I did a
Yeah,
different chimney then.
yeah, Greg, they all of those were 3D prints in O, HO, and N scale.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks, Jack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was looking through these slides, that smoke jack really caught my eye. I was like, that's pretty cool. Um, but anyway, are there any questions for Greg? Thanks for stopping by, Jack, by the way. Is there anything you want to throw in, Jack?
Oh, no, I'm just thrilled that you guys are keeping this going. And Bill Davis is on tonight, and I saw him earlier.
Yep,
And
I was just going to say I built the same structure and I added interior framing inside of it and everything else.
yeah, and Bill had his review in the old O scale magazine.
Right. Yep. Yep. I never finished the interior though. I need to finish with the interior. That's a very cool idea, making it into a repair shop. I hadn't thought about that. That's very cool and stuff. So well done, Greg.
Very nice.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, well, thanks. Thank Greg and Jack for showing up last month after after that NMRA convention there.
Mhm. It was
And,
great to see you then, Chris.
yep. Hey, does anybody have any questions for Greg before we move on? All right, I guess that's it. So we will move on. Next up is Phil at home. You up, Phil?
I am here.
All
Go
right.
for it. So this is a Banta kit. It was a West Side lumber water tank. I bought it, I think, at the narrow gauge convention a couple of years ago from Bill at the convention. I decided I wanted to make it not a lumber for a lumber tank, but rather something more of a yard. So I went ahead and replaced the base on it was originally wood. I 3D printed the piers for the posts that support it. But you can go ahead and jump forward. Jump one forward. So it's a really nice kit. It's a typical Bandit kit. The one thing I found with this kit was the sides of the water tank are a wrapper. They're not individual boards. It works fine when you get it together. The challenge I came to was the way the framing is built for the tank is 3 discs that are laser cut with X pieces that connect them together. And it turns out when you look at the line, the vertical line between the 3 discs and the pieces in between, there's nowhere where there's a continuous connection the whole way across. And the first time I did this, I had a real problem with trying to get it linked up and have it look good. I couldn't get the glue to really stick because you were just gluing to the edge of a very thin cut piece of laser cut plywood on those 3 discs. So what I ended up doing with this was I 3D printed little corners. Think about them like little pieces of pie that fit in, and I glued them into those frames. Those frames. So I had a nice solid area to glue the wrapper into. So, did the wrapper, wrapped it up with some rubber bands, got it nicely tied. I pre-stained it, but didn't do any weathering, and then put it in. The other thing I found was they sell 4-inch hand crank clamps. They're basically hose clamps on Amazon. And I bought a bundle. I think I got 6 or 8 of them for $6 or $8. So by the way, if anybody decides to build a model like this, you can give me a call and I'll send you a couple. And those actually did really good for clamping it together. You can go ahead and continue. Just go ahead and jump through the slides. Talk a little more about the build. The tank was stained separate from everything else and did all the staining. I used some pictures of the tank at Roaring Camp, which is a tourist railroad south of here, to try to stain it to match the staining I saw there. And then after I got the tank stained to the way I wanted the tank, I went ahead and put the bands on, and then did a little bit more coloring of the bands to presence of calcium, etc. You can go ahead and jump to the next slide. And so you kind of see very nice detail. All the parts on this came from Bill. He gives you great, very good jigs. They're actually laser cut cardboard jigs you glue together to put together all of the underframing. And the ladders actually have jigs to put them together as well. So all in all, I thought it was a very easy, reasonably easy to build kit. And I think it came out pretty nice. You can go ahead and jump to the next slide. I can't remember exactly where they end.
Yeah, I think
that
this,
may be the
I think
last
there's one after this one.
Okay, yeah, I just took a few pictures of it and kind of how it sits. It sits in a little. This is my Moss Landing, which has a station that actually was a station that could be moved by flat car, and it sits next to that. I still need to build some sort of a little pump station and have a pipe to fill it. I haven't done that yet, so. And I need to fill in the dirt around the feet there. I haven't done that. If you notice, one of the feet is not quite connected down to the ground. So that's it, I think.
Yep, that was
Any
it.
questions,
Cool.
comments?
Wow,
I'll drop off.
Yeah, Phil, how did you do the weathering right there at the spout? Because that's really nice.
Most of it was done with a combination of pan pastels and then some chalk.
Okay.
So the wood was mainly done with pan pastels, and then after I put the bands on, the bands were done where they're basically fishing line, and you cut them and you paint them. I've got some pictures. I could go through a bit more of Bill, but what I do is I hit those with clamps, painted them all black, did the weathering, the rusting, and then did them with clear coat. And then after they were put on, used a little bit of chalk there to try and get those white lines. And I noticed one of them needs to move a little bit. I noticed after I took this picture, I needed to line them up a little bit more, but basically that was the way it was done.
Nice job.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Any more questions for Phil? Comments, concerns? Hope there's no concerns, but anyway, in case there are. All right. Well, thanks, Phil. And we will move on to David Landels. And he asked that I present this tonight for you. It's a presentation he's given on several occasions, I think. And so here we go. And my biggest challenge for the night was trying to figure out how to pronounce this. I think it's Wapusik, Northern Wapusik Railway. And basically it's based on an area where he lives. It's fictional, and it basically what he did looks like he used a lot of evergreen styrene to build what you're about to see here. And that you're seeing his work site there. And he did an office for his railroad, and that's the headquarters of it. You see the full interior there. Moving on, you see, I believe this is HO scale, if I remember right. He told me, but I didn't write it down. So there you see a little bit more of the interior of the headquarters building itself. And there's a completed headquarters building, complete with their mascot, the polar bear, on the roof. And see some details. Got a cell phone tower, and some openings and closings. Pallets were built using coffee stirrers and looks like some strip wood. Moving on, there's some power poles with hardware that looks like he used some styrene. It looks like that might be a little bit of brass too. I'm not sure. But so part of the The background on that railroad is that it contracts to Canadian Northern, performing maintenance of way work for the big railway. And it's got a lot of equipment inside, and that's his maintenance of way materials, rolling stock, etc., that he uses for that railway. There's another shot, and another one. And then there is the maintenance shed for maintaining those maintenance away vehicles. And is calling that the shop number 1, which is the Northern Wapusik shop. And shop number 2 is it's got some equipment that it houses in there. Construction is shop number 3. You see again, it's all excuse me, all styrene. And the equipment that goes in it. It's all scratch built. Looks pretty good, really good for scratch built. The layout for shop number 4, which looks like it'll be a 3-bayer. Yep. And the bones, including the roofing structures. There you've got a little bit more, some I-beams, etc. I'm sure for moving heavy equipment around from the vertical. Got your air conditioners, etc. down below there. And there's the roof coming together. And there's the roof on it, and off the side of the tracks for servicing. Now you look at the from the top, you see the whole headquarters facility there. You've got the cell phone towers, you've got the utility poles all hooked up, and that's how the shop comes. That piece of the shop comes together, and there's your workshop right there. And then more of the workshop area, and a bunch of the maintenance of way vehicles. And another shot there. And I've got shop number 4 in use. You see where they're working on a Canadian Northern. Is it Canadian Northern and Canadian National? Canadian National? Anyway, so you see a switcher in the shop being worked on. All right, there's your shop number 4, Canadian National. Thank you. All right. And there is, I believe this is a module that he's got set up of the whole facility. There it is. And there's some more of it. All right. And that looks like it's about it. If anybody has any questions or comments, I'll see what I can do to answer them. Or Brian, I think he's in the chat. Maybe he can throw some comments in there. Yeah, Greg says nice work. Yep. All right. Looks great. Okay. All right. If anybody doesn't have anything to throw out there, well, I guess we'll go ahead and move on to Bill Stimson. Yep, Bill.
I'm here.
All right. Oh, by the way, thanks for contributing on that last one there, guys. All right. It's up to you, Bill.
This is a 2 of swap meet orphans that I got. Actually 3. You count the Smith Brothers sign, which was Bar Mills, but there's 2 Adams, the 2 Adams Avenue number 1 and number 2 from Downtown Deco that I bought and have put together and painted up. Go to the next slide.
There we go.
There's the front of number one, I believe, and it has a few different things on it. The Smith Brothers was a Bar Mills billboard, and I figured, what the heck, I'll stick that on top of the downtown deco. I really like Randy's molds. This is N scale for those who don't know that I model in N scale. So you can see the bricks and the various shapes that he's got in here, and they turn out very well. I mean, you almost can't mess this up. The signs, most of them came from the internet. Just changed, resized them and stuck them on this. Go ahead to the next one. There's a side of this one. The only problems I had was with this one, the back wasn't quite the same length as the front. So there's a little gap in the back right corner that I had to fill in with a little bit of I used spackling paste to fill in. I've seen other people use plaster or hydrocal, but I just stuck some spackling paste in there and then kind of carved some bricks into it and covered it up. I don't know if I have a picture of the back, so I kind of set the two of them on with a bunch of other downtown deco buildings that I've built over the years. Go on to the next one. Oh, and Randy actually supplied the stencil for this fast loans. That was fun to do. I've never tried to do a stencil in N scale like that. It turned out okay. And so did the little pawn shop sign that he included with this kit. This is number two, Adam's number two. And also a whole bunch of signs off the internet to go with it. Go on to the next one. There's a little better picture of it. Kind of an interesting one with the stone building kind of in the middle. I'm not sure I would have included a stone building in the middle of a bunch of brick ones, but it was already there. Go on to the next one. And yeah, nothing else. Go ahead on to the next one. Oh, there's the front. The bricks I painted, and then I used a white wash to put mortar in, and that seems to do pretty well, and at least in N scale. It kind of tones down the brick color and leaves mostly some mortar visible. Go on to the next one. I don't remember how many of these I sent you. That must have been the last one.
Yep. All right. All right. Well, thanks, Bill. Anybody have any questions for Bill?
Yeah, Bill, you're right about Randy's castings. I've done a couple of his kits, and to be able to get mortar showing an N scale, that really shows, the level of his castings. That the grout lines are wide enough and deep enough that you can get that to work, and it came out really looking good.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, this is probably the eighth or ninth of his kits I've built, and they all turn out really well.
I guess his thinking is the stone building was there from long ago, and they built around it, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, around here to be a facade. I know I've got in the front of the house, it's we had some I think they're calling them veneer, but they're basically concrete blocks that they use to make the stone on the front of the house here. So maybe that's the same thing.
I
Any
was
more?
just going to say, yeah, I was just going to say that, but Craig beat me to the punch. Really, both on. I like it. I love those kind of castings. That's where the little streets there. I like this too. Is that where you have it laid out, or it's just on your workbench?
It's just on my workbench at this point. It's
Okay.
about 5 inches long, Phil.
Now, have you later? Um, do you have a home picked out for it?
Not yet.
Okay, well, we'd like to see it. So, very well done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Great. Any more questions for Bill? All right. Well, thanks, Bill. Now we'll move on to Brian Teal. Saw you up earlier, Brian. You here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Yep. You ready?
Yeah, don't have any particular speech set up. I didn't get around to writing anything, but so
Oh, come on. You don't have the Declaration of Independence written?
no, too busy with work, unfortunately. um, but this is the How Trust Bridge kit from Junco Scale Models. That it's a kit, but I like to kind of say it's sort of scratch built because I was the one who helped manufacture those kits.
Oh, cool.
Because my dad was the owner of the company, so I cut all the wood and I cut all the wires and did the castings with him. And while we were packing up ones for the shop, he let me put one aside for me.
Nice.
So the advantage of being at the company is the main beams that run across the bottom and top are two pieces in the kits, but I was able to do it full length because I didn't have to fit it in a box. So it saved, didn't have to explain away a joint in the middle. But it was a few evenings work sitting down and getting all the pieces out and where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I've seen Juneco kits over the years, but I never really got a chance to see what's inside of them or see what they look like built up. So
Yeah,
this is a great opportunity.
And I don't know how many of them made it south of the border because it was Inner Hobbies was a Canadian, and Junco was Canadian. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I've built several of the kits, and Dad did a great job designing them and making. We always were very careful about cutting, so the pieces, what was already pre-cut for you was already it was pretty good shape.
Nice.
But
is the castings the casting you see in the lower left corner there, are those included in it, or is that
no,
something you just
those were bridge abutments, which were also made by Junco. They were plaster castings.
Okay.
And kind of had some fun, painting up some individual colors on the blocks, but not sure if I like that too much because it kind of draws away from the bridge in my opinion, but it's what I had handy. But my layout is in the process of being constructed, so this will go on there at some point, but not yet.
Yeah. Alrighty.
It was a lot of fun doing all those cross pieces and all the wires.
Yeah, it looked like it was is it basically a production line kind of deal, and you just kind of manufacture 24 of those or whatever, and then you assemble from there, or what?
Yeah, kind of the drawings that come with the kit give you something, basically put it down, taped it to, I use a piece of glass as my, a nice flat work surface, tape the plans to that, and then put wax paper over top. So you could actually lay them out that way. But there was a lot of work with the pin vise to drill all the holes for the wires. So basically chuck a movie that I'd seen a few times already in the DVD and have that as background noise. I'd twist, twist, twist. And then when my hand would get too tired, I'd do something else. And
Hmm.
But
Yeah, it came out fantastic.
thank you.
So you've got a, wow, I didn't notice that ladder before. Wow, that was
Yeah.
that takes quite a bit of talent just to get that part right. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, it was tweezers, patience, and because it's an HO scale model, I don't know if I mentioned that.
Okay.
And you know, occasionally trying to rethink my decisions up to that point in my life.
Yeah.
But my dad, you know, his modeling was, you know, amazing. Just, you know, not just from my perspective, but from what others have seen and said over the years, that he set a very high standard for me to follow.
Hmm. Came out very very nicely. It's an incredible job.
Thank you.
And I think this might be the last photo. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Brian? Or comments?
Ryan,
Sniper marks.
what did you use to stain the wood?
India ink wash with alcohol. I find it gives a nice color.
Brian, all of the what look like little metal castings that the wires went to support it in the kit, are they metal, plastic, or something else?
They're white metal.
Aha.
Yeah, because this was all done well before 3D printing became a commonplace. So yeah, all the castings, they're all white metal.
Wow, it came out beautiful.
Yeah, all, you know, the channel ones basically sit flat on there. There's a little pin underneath to, you know, to kind of give it a little more tooth to hold it in place. All the rivets on the side are single pieces that, you know, you drill holes, and they were, you know, eighth of an inch maybe long, that you had to drill the holes and put each one in.
Wow.
Well, if I see one of these at a show, looks like fun.
Well, it's the Junko is no longer being manufactured, so anything you find is a collector's item now.
Yeah, I think I've seen
I
some
was
around
building
today.
I was building Junko kits 42 years ago.
Yeah.
Wood box cars, flat cars, gondolas, beautiful stuff.
Did you ever do the Carterville station?
I never did, no.
No. Okay. Yeah. No, it's definitely was a long running business, but unfortunately, Dad passed away in June this year. For anybody who knew him, and I don't have the time, and two, I was only just starting to learn all the intricacies of producing these kits, and so it's gone with him.
How long did it take you to do this kit?
I don't usually keep track of my hours because, like I said, I'd work on it a little bit, and then when, you know, if I got tired of drilling holes, I'd go paint some figures or stuff like that. And but I would probably say got about, you know, a dozen hours in there maybe.
Okay.
It's like once you got everything kind of stained and ready to go, and, you know, it was just a matter of sitting down and piece after piece after piece and clamping it as you went along. So, and but yeah, it was mostly, you know, I did it over several evenings.
Yeah, this is fantastic work.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think think you're right, Greg. We'll have to see if we can find some of these kits.
Yeah, they're still out there. I find them I rescue them occasionally from you know, people who've decided they don't want to build them any. You know, they've gotten partway on it and they've given up, so they're at a train show with, you know, they're getting rid of their stuff and pick it up for a few bucks. And
Yeah. All right. Well, this is incredible. Thanks for sharing.
yeah, thanks for letting me.
Anybody have any questions for Brian? All right. Well, thanks again, Brian, and we will move on. If I can find the right cursor there. There we go. Craig, are you up?
I am now. Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. So let's see here. I pulled the photos out of the Word document you sent me. So hopefully they're they should be in the right order.
Beauty. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
This really is just a little prototype structure to hide a trackside switch motor. I've got a Helix. I kind of like Helixes, but they do consume a fair bit of space, and it's wasted if you don't make use of the top of a Helix. So I decided on this layout that I'd create a quarry scene, which is why you don't see my ugly dial, and you actually can see the quarry up in the picture. And the line that feeds that quarry is actually an extension of the Helix. The Helix leads to the branch terminus, or at least the branch terminus diverges off the Helix. But I couldn't put an under track switch motor in because it would interfere with vehicles on the Helix. So and accessing an under track motor there would be, you really would need to be not much bigger than a worm, I think. So I had to go for using a trackside point motor, and the neatest of a trackside point motors is the Pico version. It's not exactly prototypical. So I decided I had to find a way to hide it, and it's too close to the track to hide under a building. And I came across this photo of a what are called halts on New South Wales Railways branch lines. They're actually a flag stop where people could flag down a train by prior arrangement. So that was the inspiration for the little model that I created. That little halt, the whole line closed in 1975. Obviously, it hadn't been used for a while because that photo was taken in 1975 as well. So next photo, please. This is the halt parked over the point motor. And what we're doing is looking up the line towards the branch terminus straight ahead, and the quarry line curving off to the right there. The branch gradient is 1 in 55, which is the gradient on the Helix, and the quarry gradient is 1 in 50 to get it up and above the Helix, slightly higher, so that I could level out at the quarry, so I didn't have wagons rolling back down the hill. Next slide. And here we are looking along the quarry line back towards the halt. Next. And here is the halt sitting over the top of the Pico trackside motor. And it's really just the construction of it. I designed it, so next photo. I designed it so that the ramp and the deck could be removed from the frame and posts if I ever needed to access the point motor to repair it or replace it. Got to say, in 25 odd years of using these things, I've never actually had one fail. Famous last words, I guess. Next photo. And there it is with the deck fully removed and just showing the bearers and posts that are fixed in place. Next. And there's we see the clearance between the motor and the frame that holds the whole lot, and how close the motor is to the track. Next. So it's scratch built it's got a balsa under frame and then scale lumber on top. The actual rectangular piece of balsa there slots snugly into the fixed frame on on the layout. And as you saw, my hand pulling it out, it comes out very neatly, sits back down very neatly. You'll notice slight shaving on the trackside edge on the left there. That's to account for the overswing of locomotives and long wagons as they come off the helix to head up to the branch. The next slide. So there it is back in place. The deck is scribed lumber sheet, and the ramp is individual board by board construction sitting on little bearers. And I think that's it.
Yep, sure is. All right, well, that's a neat way to hide your switches. So thanks for sharing. Are there any
Cheers. Yeah,
questions?
fortunately, I only had to do it for this one. So,
Oh, okay. All right. Are there any questions for Craig? All right. Well, thanks for sharing, Craig. And
cheers.
we'll move on. DS Yates, are you up? I see him. David Yates.
David, you'll have to unmute. I had muted you before while you were up.
How about now?
There we go.
It keeps going off for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you go by David?
Yeah, either one, David or
Okay.
Dave.
Okay. Yeah, because I just have DS and I wasn't sure what it meant or what it stood for. So, all right. So I'll know that for next time. All right. Well, let's see what I think you just sent. Oh yeah, you sent a series. So here we start out. I hope I got them in the right order. Apologize if I didn't.
Apology accepted. It's okay. No, I wanted you to start on the I had some prototype ones. You know what? We'll just go it with the way it is. How's that?
Okay, sure.
These are some 3D printed shop parts. And you can see the work's kind of crude, but when you see, this is all in N scale. You can go to the next slide.
Oops. Hang on. Something's not right here. I think it hid your images. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Because oh, that's weird. Tell you what, Tom, you want to you have a little bit of filler. I need to go back and throw these slides in there because they oh yeah, I've got like 10 slides I need to throw in there.
Is this the last presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you got a little bit of filler, I will
Yeah, I sent Father Ron a kit, which should be arriving sometime later this week. And it's a Craftsman kit, and sometime next year we'll have Father Ron, who's an extraordinary modeler, featured on the show as a builder, and looking forward to that. And I'm pleased that we had so many my builds this time. We were really wondering why we weren't getting the support that we had in the past year, but it's really pleasing to see we had quite a number of them this time around. And we have next week's show covered, but the week after we could use some presentations. Phil, if you want to ad lib a little here.
Yeah,
But we're
Tom,
pretty well covered for next week.
Yeah, Tom, this is Phil. So I was going to do something a little different. I talked about the water tank and about the interior, and I have to see I had this. This was the first tank I built. Actually, let me turn off my background because you'll be able to see better. And I talked about how it was the challenge of putting these things together. You kind of see in there, see, that's the interior structure. And you notice when you bring these pieces together, the only thing they stick to are these 3 discs. And so what I did on the one that you saw was I 3D printed a piece, measured the diameter, 3D printed a piece that slid in there on both the upper and lower levels, so that when you put this together and to glue it as a wrapper, it had a good surface to glue to. So, you know, when you get to that of building that kind of a kit, it'll kind of show you how to do it. So hopefully that was enough. Hopefully that was enough of a delay.
We're getting there.
Hey, Bob
Cool.
Davidson, didn't know that you were on the show this evening.
Yeah, I came in late. The grandson is playing hockey.
Bob, if you are game before year end, your segment on
Yeah, I've got one ready for you, Tom. So I've had it ready for a few weeks now.
okay, good. So we'll do that next week then.
Next week or week after, whatever is good for you.
Well, we'd like to do them 1 week at a time. So let's what do we want to call it? Dollar store
Workshop tips and tricks.
a workshop. Say it again.
Workshop tips and tricks.
Great. We'll have you on next week. It
Sounds
was
good.
fun. Yeah. And any others while I'm soliciting this? We'll take volunteers. Oh, we have David Malloy will be on. Someday I'm going to get that right. Maybe after a couple years.
So it's Malat.
Malat, got it. I've only known you for 2 years.
I think you've only pronounced it right one time, but
Yeah. Well, you know.
it's a common thing, so it's not a big deal. I'm
Yeah.
used.
So let me see what we actually. How are we doing on our slides there, Chris?
Give me just one more minute here. And let's see. Okay. So I'm ready.
Terrific.
Oops. Might help to share from the right computer. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I apologize. Let's try this one more time here. Okay, so there is your prototype photo.
Yes, I had set this whole thing up based on when it was featuring interiors. And so these are basically interiors. And my joke was I really knocked myself out with this one. And of course, it's not. Does anybody know where it is? Any guesses?
Not a clue, but it's a heck of a place.
That's the train station in Nashville.
No, it's
Chicago?
Lackawanna station at Steamtown.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, so to go to Scranton is not too hard. And I've been to Steamtown dozens of times, usually when there's an event. And I wanted to stay at this place, but like most hotels and everything, the price gets jacked up whenever there's a big event. But I had 2 things this summer to do, and they were in the middle of the week, and I thought maybe it would be okay. And it was about $110 a night. It's a wonderful place, and I think I have another slide of it. If you go, there should be 2 there.
Yeah,
that's not
actually,
quite it.
I didn't throw that other one in there because it looked like
Okay,
it was
it's
pretty
the
much the
same.
same
It's
photo.
the same deal.
But
Just go back one time
sure.
to the tiles that are all the way around the doors. Those are handmade tiles that were depicting what you would see on the route of the Phoebe snow. which was from Hoboken to Buffalo. And Scranton was one of the major stops. But now we can go to what I did.
All right.
From the sublime to the ridiculous, but it's a really nice place at any rate. I wanted to do interior on, I got a whole series of the Lund Studios buildings. These are an N scale, by the way. And this is one of my favorite ones. It's primarily a hardware store, but you don't get a floor or any interior. Actually, they didn't bother sending me a roof, but the roof was easy to do. A flat roof building, and I added some chimneys, but I wanted to have interiors with the nice big windows. I thought it would lend itself to it. So you can go to the next one then. And I started with this, which were some 3D. I had all of this stuff. I haven't been buying anything. I've been using what I have after 40 years of N scale. You can go to the next slide. I painted it. There are over 100 little tiny pieces there painted. They're different, all those different items. It's on both sides too, with some of them that she can't see, but they are done. And I added some signage and I added some figures. The figures are hard to come by that are decent in N scale. Actually, a lot of the details are somewhat lacking, but it's the price you pay for the smaller size. You can go to the next slide.
Here we go.
Which they're a little out of order, but that you can see the different ones. And then the next one, Chris. That's how it looked at the end. That's how it looks at the end. That's my third attempt at lighting. I've never done lighting before. It's also hard to photograph at night, but
sure came out nice. So,
and I've got most of the mortar in. A picture always isolates your flaws, and I would probably work a little bit better on some of the mortar up top. But that's one of the buildings, and then I have another one. Go to the next slide. Oh, and then that's just another shot, nighttime shot. And then there's this. This one was my first attempt. That's the Parrot Lounge. Then the parrots are cigar rings, cigar bands, and I had glued one on there, and I had never bought the cigar before, but I saw that parrot, and I thought that might work in a lounge setting or something, and I glued that in. I didn't particularly like the cigar, but I had glued it too low. It looked okay this way, but when you put it behind the building, it was too low. I said, I need another one to put it where they're in flight. So I went back to the cigar store, bought a cigar I didn't like in order to get a second parrot. So I've named this thing the Parrot Lounge. And all of the people are either eating something. The ones on the left, that's an N-scale pizza. It's a little piece of index card, and there's a little dot of red, and I left a little on the off-white for the crust to go around it. And the lady in the back has some soup. I think I have another slide of the same thing.
Yep.
And that one, this is the very first building I ever did lighting on, and I had never used the Woodland Scenics Just Plug, and I had no idea how bright they can be. And so you can see that it's all busted there. And I had to break it off because it actually was glued down as a ceiling. And then the entire building was dark. And when I turned it on, I realized, I mean, you could do surgery and it was super bright, and they are adjustable with the brightness, but even turning it low, it was very, very bright. So I had to pull that up, and now it lights the whole building. That little light there, even on a low setting, will light a 4 or 5 story building. I never realized they were so powerful.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty big LED.
Yeah. Yeah, you do need a 3/4 inch drill, the bit to be able to put that through from underneath. So that's why I always create, in any that I've done, I create a, a wall not nearly as deep as the building, so I can get it through there. Then you go to the next one. And that's one of the few shots I could get to show. I think I have a couple others.
Yeah, I see the parrots through there.
And that's the total of 4. One of those, it's the only time the one further back is the built and ready. I really don't like the whole concept of built and ready, but this was the one by Woodland Scenics that has the televisions on at nighttime. And that just, I saw that when I was a kid, that you would drive by and the TV and appliance stores would leave the TVs on overnight. And I said, I have to have it. I don't want to buy it as a ready-made thing, but I have to have that. And I had already planned the city and I'd already built these things in place when I saw that. So that's why the TV store's down a side street like that. It was the only place I could get it to fit, unless I was going to bust up all my sidewalks and everything, which wasn't going to happen. So that's where that is. And then the 3 buildings are the 3 that I lit. And they have some window shades on some of them. And then some of it was so tiny that I just had to put in the light diffusing film because I couldn't reach in there to get the shades all the way at the top of the like the tall building there in the center. Is that everything, or is there
Let's see here. Oh,
just it's a nighttime shot of the same thing, and which
Yep.
it came out better in shots like that.
Yep, looks like a nice, quaint little city in the. So yeah, it came out the whole thing came out very nice. Even the one you decided to bury in the back. I mean, maybe burying it is what makes it look more attractive. I don't know, but it certainly does.
Well, it makes you may, I like to have it where people discover things.
Yeah.
I find that visitors, I have a lot of little details all over, and I find visitors stay 2 or 3 times longer than they ever have in any previous layout. And it's the details.
Yeah. Cool.
David, that's amazing work. Amazing work on N scale. I gotta say that.
Well, that's the key. I may not be in N scale too much longer. In fact, I've spent the greater part of last year I spent building O-scale diorama, which I have this show to blame because I've seen the great detail, and I've just been loving it. I thought I'd start with something easy, so I bought a Sierra West model, um, and that's a joke. It was about the hardest I ever did, but I loved it. I got immersed in it. Um,
You'll have to
and it
show it
came
to
out
us.
very nice. And I'm subsequently built a bar mills. I wanted to go a little lighter, and I went some custom work on that. And I'm currently in another bar mills, and I'm putting interiors in them as well, which means I'm going to have to light them. But yeah, I don't really have that much room other than to do just a diorama or something. But I'm loving the size of it. It's getting at 74, it's more and more difficult to see, the end scale. So it's very disconcerting to think about changing scales after 40 some years. I don't think I could ever completely walk away from end scale because it's the only thing I'd ever be able to operate a little. But it
All right.
already has had a slightly diminished place in my hobby.
Fantastic, fantastic looking stuff. Thank you for sharing, David. All right. Are
Thanks for having me.
Are there any questions? Okay. All right. Well, thanks again. Thanks to everybody that shared tonight. We've had this is a pretty successful show. I'd like to see this kind of participation level a lot. This is great. Anyway, coming up, the upcoming My Build challenges and shows. December 17th is a challenge. It's layouts. Submission deadline for that is please get your stuff to me by December 14th. And then moving into January and February, there's pretty much free-for-alls, anything goes. You see the rest of the submissions through or the rest of the subjects that we're going to have and the show dates through June. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Thanks to those that participated. I was very encouraged to see some people that haven't participated before and some people that haven't participated in a while. So thanks to everyone. And with that, I will wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.